Well, we've had the screening of the Watchmaker's Apprentice, and now catching up with Roger himself. You've presumably seen it a few times already, but seeing it on the big screen, what was it like?
Oh, it's a very nice experience. It's an unusual thing seeing yourself up on a screen and seeing your life's sort of story being sort of played out, but very nice to see.
Obviously, about George, it started with when they first looked into it, and then they realised what you brought to this whole thing, and your great story. I mean, I don't want to give it away really, but it's just an amazing bond you two obviously had.
Yes, I mean, it's an unusual bond. I mean, when I went to work with George, he was 72 and I think I was 28, so we were a good age gap. I suppose we were brought together by watchmaking, but we were generations apart. But we had an unusual relationship. It is full of respect, but it's very
the
different.
classic story. You spent so many years creating your first watch. You took it to him, and what did he say?
The first watch, he said, it looks too handmade. Go away and start another. It didn't look to be high enough quality.
And 5 years later, you returned?
Yes, 5 years later with the second watch, which I remade about 4 or 5 times during that period. And throughout that period, I was remaking it and just trying to perfect all the skills that are necessary to create a completely handmade watch. And I suppose that was a turning point for me.
I mean, it's a bit tacky, I know about money, but your watches sell for a great deal. I mean, you put a lot of time and years in some of them, don't you?
Yes, they are very, very expensive watches, but they're made in a completely different way than any other watch out there. A huge focus is about the hand skill, the skill of the individual man who has built that watch. And so, for example, one of the watch dials that go on all of my watches, they take about 3 weeks to make. It's incredible labour, sort of a labour-intensive product.
And when George passed away, I mean, obviously he lived to a good age and everything, but it must have been still very moving for you.
It's very difficult because it isn't until somebody passes away that you actually realise what an incredible effect they've had on your life. And George Daniels has shaped my whole life from the age of 17 years old, and I'm now 42. So he's had an amazing impact, and it's only when you look back and reflect that you can really appreciate that.
And the thing is, you moved to the Isle of Man because he was here, and you've now got your own apprentices, and the Isle of Man's becoming a sort of place to do business, to make watches.
Well, yes, I'm hoping so. I mean, George, before he passed away, he was always talking about the Isle of Man being a centre of excellence, and his escapement, the coaxial escapement, is a world-class escapement. It's a timekeeping element of a mechanical watch, and that watch has now been accepted by Omega. It's been in their watches since 1999, and it's a huge success story. And it's all here on the Isle of Man. And we're trying to take George's work further. We're trying to make subtle improvements to the work that he's done, and it's always a progression.
Do you think you'll get to the stage where you'll be remembered for something, creating something brand new?
Who knows? I've got hopefully a long career ahead.
Yeah.
So who knows?